Howdy there, folks. How are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and welcome back to another video where today I am going to, right out the gate, admit that I made a mistake. I thought about going foresting, so I made a lot of new axes. Oh, I also made a new chest up here. I just found it in a separate chest, and then I put the content. I found a chest in a chest, and I took the chest out of the chest, and I put the chest down, and now it's just a chest. And I made axes because I thought I was going to go foresting, but what I've decided to do instead is I'm going to go do some mining today. And I guess we'll just use regular, let's see, we've got some peridite there. I know we've got a ruby up in this chest up top here, because I threw it in there earlier, another peridite. I don't think I have quite what I need to create, oh, hold the phone. Oh my gosh. Okay, no, hold on. Yeah, we can make this work. We can totally make this work. We're going to go mining. We need to find diamonds. We need to find gold. Yes, I can turn an abhorrent amount of iron. And is game audio working? Yes, okay. I wasn't sure if it was being recorded. I had to double check there. I can turn a bunch of iron into a bunch of gold. Or, well, not a bunch. I can turn a bunch of... let me put it to you like this. I can turn a bunch of iron into a bit of gold, and I can turn a bit of gold into a few diamonds. But that's not ideal. So I'm going to go down and manually do some mining, and we're going to save these for later, because I might need them for something else. We'll throw them in back here along with that iron. And there we go. We've got plenty of food. We might want to bring down some more torches, though, because I don't remember what the mining situation is down there. And I thought while we mine, I could just do a time-lapse. I could just skip it entirely, you know, do like a fade or something. Or we could talk about the PlayStation 5, because here in the time that I'm recording this... Oh, look at this. We've got... Okay. I try to keep this stuff sorted, and I try to stay on top of it, but you know how it is. It's hard to keep track. I mean, look at this. We've only got 12 gold. That's not nearly enough. And then I think it's 8 iron to a gold, if I remember correctly, so we're not... And then 4 gold to a diamond. We're not doing too hot, considering we want to make magnum torches. And then at some point, we also, you know, want to go to the moon. That's the priority. But I know more about the PlayStation 5 now than I did in a previous episode where I talked about it. And we've known quite a bit about the Xbox One X and One S for a while. And while I am mostly interested in the One S because it'll match my white console collection, I'm also not even remotely interested in the One S because they put this massive... I'm sorry, the Series S and Series X. I'm sorry to cause confusion. That might happen a few times. If I'm referring to the new consoles and I say the One S or the One X and I really mean the Series S or the Series X, and it causes some sort of like deep level of confusion on your part, I do want to apologize now, because I think that probably will just happen as a result of them being very poorly named by Microsoft. Very terrible names, and I'm not a fan of them. But in any case, I like the One S because it's white, and I have a large collection of white consoles. However, it has that big, ugly splotch on it. That big, ugly splotch that is the... Oh, is this iron? Well, shrek me. We'll go ahead and collect this, because we can turn iron into gold, and we can turn iron into diamonds after we turn it into gold, so we need to collect it as we go, and if we find any peridite, I guess we should get that too. I'm not too worried about tin at the moment, though. Mostly prioritizing iron, gold, and diamonds. Those are sort of the key objects. But they put a giant, black, ridiculous-looking fan grill on it, which just stands out way too much. I feel like they were going for a contrast thing with the Series S, and I hate it. And then as for the Series X, it's going to be a great system, I'm sure. It's going to be more powerful, one would assume, than the PS5. But every game that I care about on that system is coming out on PC, and I've already got a PC. I've got a PC with a 2080 Ti. I might get... I don't know. I thought about getting the 3080. I'm not getting a 3090. I was gung-ho for a 3090, but I'm not going to be playing 8K games anytime soon. I don't have money for a monitor like that, but... And even, I mean, now that actual reviews are out, and, you know, 3080 might not even be necessary. 2080 Ti is fine for, I mean, maybe I can wait for the 4080, and it'll be, anyway, I've got a, you know, I've got a good PC, 8 cores, good graphics card. Every game coming out on Xbox pretty much is going to come out on the PC. So why would I then buy an Xbox? Especially if the Xbox One X isn't, or Series X isn't white. Why would I do that? So I'm not saying I'm never going to get the Xbox. I guess if I didn't have a PC, I would probably end up picking it up because I'm a bit of a power junkie, and everything we've seen so far seems to suggest it is going to be just that little bit more powerful. But PS5. Let's talk PS5. Is it a day one purchase for me? I'm leaning towards yes. I'm leaning towards for sure. Because there's a bunch of PS4 games that I've not played yet that are sitting in their packages that I really want to get to playing. And the cool thing about the PS5 is I can just pop those games in there and they'll run. And they'll run a little bit better than they did on the PS4. I assume. I say that, I'm making assumptions. You probably know by... No, you don't. No, they'll come out till November. What am I talking about? I'm probably going to end up... I don't think I will actually be able to get it on day one because I think it'll probably be sold out for months to come due to supply chain issues and everything, even though they're ramping up production and they're making a lot of the darn things. I don't think I'm going to be able to get one. But if, the one was available in a store day one, I would bring it home and start playing through. Like, I never finished Ratchet & Clank, the remake, on the PS4. And I've just sort of decided instead of going back to it, I'll restart it on the PS5. Never played through Spider-Man, and there's that new Spider-Man coming out. So, want to play both of those, and I'll do it on the PS5, because why wouldn't I? And, Horizon Zero Dawn is out on PC now, which is really cool. But I've already owned it on the PS4, and I'm not going to buy it again. So I'll just play it on the PS5. Pretty excited about the PS5, but that brings to question which model. Now, we knew they were going to do a discless model, seeing that it's $100 less. That's pretty good, and I know why they're doing it. They really want you to buy the discless model, because I think Sony's probably taking a loss on each console sold, but if you buy the discless model, then you have to buy games off of their Monopoly store, because that's what these digital marketplaces are. They're all monopolies. I'm with Epic on this. I'm definitely with Epic on this. The argument can be made it's not a monopoly because, well, you don't have to buy this system. There's other systems with other marketplaces, but they're all the same. It's like a duopoly or a... there's another one for when it's more than two. But, I mean, really, if you want to, Xbox, there's one store. PlayStation, there's one store. The stores are basically the same. So, it's dumb. It sucks. It's... the great thing about PC is there's multiple different stores. Sometimes there's exclusives on the stores. Many times they're not, and you can get them on multiple different stores. Different stores have different features. They have different pricing sometimes. The way that PC does it is better, and I'd like to think we're living in a future where even if it has to be done via, the law stepping in, if you have hardware, you should be able to buy whatever you want to and install it on that hardware however you want to. You shouldn't have to have the person who makes the hardware be like, okay, no, you have to buy it from our store. Like, imagine if you bought a car, right? And you decide, I want to put some seat covers in this car. And so you go to the store, you go to like an O'Reilly's or an AutoZone or something. Like, I want to get some seat covers. Oh, you can't buy those here. You bought a Ford. You got to go to the Ford dealership to buy seat covers. That's the only. Or I guess gas is something definitively you have to have for a car, or electricity for an electric car. But if you could only you bought a Chevy, you have to use Chevron fuel. They're not associated, but you get my point, right? Like, you can only use a certain type of gas. Or you've got to buy Tesla electricity. You got to get a Tesla solar roof in order to charge your car, you Looney Tune. What do you? Oh, that's nice. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's lovely right there. You got to buy a Tesla solar roof in order to charge your Tesla. You can't use just any old electricity out of the wall. It's absurd. And I'm using cars as an example. What if you bought a PC and the only place you could buy your stores was on the Microsoft Store, or, God help us, the Apple Mac App Store? It's nonsensical. You buy a PC, you should have access to just a digital marketplace where you can get whatever you want. And I'd like to see that happen someday. That's dark and depressing there. Look, lava. We've reached the end of the road, unfortunately, for this line. So, as I was saying, before I went off on my tangent, they want you to buy the digital edition, even if they're taking a bigger loss on it than they are on the model that has the disk drive. And the reason is they'll make that money back on their monopolistic store, where they make a 30% cut of all sales. So you buy the diskless model, you're not going to GameStop or Target or Best Buy or Walmart or Sam's Club I see you, Sam's Club. I know you people. You're good people. You're not going there to buy your... Oh, that wasn't the end of the line. There's a lava chamber at the end of all of these. I assumed that's where we were, and I was wrong. You're not going there to buy your games. You're buying them on the digital marketplace because that's the only place you can buy them. Assuming they don't do download cards, which I'm assuming they won't. I don't think they do now. I think even Nintendo's gotten out of that for at least first-party games. So, you know, you're going to make their money back on selling you games on their digital storefront, their monopolistic digital storefront. So that's actually, I mean, it's a good deal. It's $100 off, and you're getting the same console, basically. And the problem for me is I like to have games physically, and I have a PC. It's what I primarily game on, so I don't really have those games, you know, in cases up on my shelves, obviously. I get them all off Steam or Uplay or Never Epic if I can avoid it. You know, I still have not got a game that I loved and would love to play on PC at, like, full quality is... Oh, no, that was less grandiose than I thought it would be. The Outer Worlds. I'd love to have The Outer Worlds on PC. I love that game. It's not out on the on Steam yet. Once it is, for sure. But I'm not buying it on the Epic Store. I support Epic and their fight against Apple, but I don't like their policy of snatching up exclusives. I feel like it sort of goes in the other direction, doesn't it? You know, it decreases competition. We can talk about that here in a second. What I do want to say, though, is the primary reason actually doesn't have to do with game collecting and wanting my games up on a shelf. My primary reason is what I just said, all those PS4 games. I know they have some sort of system where I think it's part of PS Plus or PS Now or something. You can get a bunch of the first-party PS4 games on the PS5. But I don't like subscriptions either. I don't have any ongoing. I canceled Disney Plus. I canceled Netflix because I've come to hate the subscription model and sort of what it represents and the direction it's going in the industry. And I understand that makes me a weird, old, out-of-touch man, and I'm okay with that. I embrace that future of me just being the old geezer shaking my cane and saying, yeah, kids these days and their non-ownership of things. But I want to play my PS4 games that I already own. I don't want a subscription model. I don't want to buy them again digitally. I want to just be able to take the discs out, stick them in the PS5, and play them. So that's what I'm going to do, and it's going to be cheaper in the long run. Because, I mean, what if I can buy these games on the digital storefront? Can I buy PS4 games on the PS5? Assuming I can, what's it going to cost me? Let's say $10 is a minimum. They're going to be more than that, but even if it's $10 at a minimum, 10 PS4 games in, and I've already spent the difference between the discless and the disc full model. So there you go. That's the reason I'm leaning towards PS5 disc full instead of discless. And if I can get it day one, that'd be great, but I don't think I'll be able to. Pretty excited, though. I think it's always good when a new console generation comes out because it forces game developers to utilize PC hardware better. The Xbox One and the PS4 were anemic and underpowered on launch. I don't think anemic is the correct term there. Don't know why I said that. They were underpowered at launch, though. But at least they pushed things forward enough. And, you know, cell processing was dead, thank God. Sony gave up that little farce. And they went to, you know, a regular x86 processor, which meant that, hey, guess what? The Xbox is x86, PlayStation's x86. Guess what else is? PC. PC ports, they don't have to be garbage anymore. You don't have to put a lot of money in there. It was good. It was very good. So, bad consoles, the Xbox One and the PS4 were both very good for PC, which means that good consoles will be even better for PC. As a member of the PC Master Race, I love my PC, but I don't hate consoles. I just want consoles to be better, and these are going to be pretty good. Yes, they're based on Zen 2, and Zen 3 is going to hopefully blow those out of the water. But still, they're still less than a year. Well, they're not less than a year old, are they? They're still very new processors. I'm rocking a Zen 2 processor. I've got a 3700X. It's swell. And yeah, you know what? You're going to be able to pay more for a more powerful graphics card. I mean, they've got RDNA in them. And soon, hopefully, the 6000 series Radeon cards will be more powerful than what's inside the new consoles. But you know what? You're also going to be paying the price of a console for one of those cards, assuming you get the top-of-the-line one, assuming AMD actually puts out a top-of-the-line card for once. They used to do that. They used to be competitive. Do y'all remember when AMD used to be competitive? But the point is, you're not paying too much for a an NSA feed into your house. I'm talking to you, Xbox One, with your mandatory in the box. You gotta plug it in, freaking Connect that no one wanted. I think that they thought, hey, the Wii was real successful. If we put the Connect in the box, then we'll have what the Wii didn't. We'll have motion controls and power, and people will love it. But people didn't want that at all. That's not what they wanted. That's why they bought the 360 and not the Wii. Or if they did own the Wii, they owned the Wii as like a secondary console, or they were very old, and it was something to get them up and moving in the retirement home. Microsoft, you made a mistake. Also, Kinect was kind of cool when it launched, but it was never the Wii. It was never the Wii. It was always a little bit worse than the Wii. So don't pretend like it was in any way like comparable, and that you were in any way ever close to getting that level of success with your clearly subpar system. I'm sorry to offend you, Microsoft, but I'm not sorry to tell you the truth. Okay? And I'm sorry I'm not buying your new Xbox, but you're not releasing it in white. And also, Halo Infinite's coming out on PC. And that's literally the only thing I can think about on the Xbox in terms of first-party games that I care about. Ori games are apparently really good, but those tend to just come out on Switch eventually, as well as, guess what, PC. Is there any third-party developing exclusively for the Xbox? I can't think so. So if all first-party games are going to PC as well, and there's no third-party going like, man, imagine if we made things exclusively for the Xbox. Wouldn't that be cool? Then there's just no reason for me to buy one. Not saying there's no reason for you to. You know, if you want to get one for your third-party games and you don't own a gaming PC, it actually makes a lot of sense. You know, definitely go for it. But leaning towards PS5 right now. It'll be interesting to see how the generation shakes up. Because remember, the PS2 was on top and the PS3 launched, and Sony was cocky, and they had their butts handed to them, which is crazy. Because didn't they launch that thing at like $600 for one of the models? Wasn't I think the 60 it launched with a 30 gig and a 20 gig and a 60 gig, and I think the 60 gig model was $600 or $700 US. That's insane. That's more than the PS5. We're not even adjusting for inflation here. My gosh, nuts. But they seem to have, they really bit themselves in the butt that time around. And then it swapped. It swapped with Microsoft coming out and saying, we can forcibly sell you a Kinect. You'll be willing to, have to pay to get access to online features and games that you bought used. They had to backpedal on that one. Y'all remember that savage commercial? Or not even a commercial, it's just like a little presser that Sony put out. It's like, here's how to share games on the PS4. It's the guy just like, here, and the other guy takes it, and then they look at the camera, and they smirk, and they're real smart alecky about it, but they can do that because they just shoved it right at Microsoft. I think a lot of decisions were made in that moment. That was the year. 2013 was the year I built my first gaming PC, the one that, I was going to say the one I still have, in a way. I've never completely built a new PC. I've just kind of swapped out parts here and there over time. So in a way, it's the same gaming PC. But in a way, I don't know, if you replace every board on a ship one at a time, by the time you've replaced all the parts, is it the same ship? It's a PC, it's not a ship. So I don't know. But I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, 2013. Built myself a gaming PC and looked at the new consoles and just sort of laughed and said, no thank you. I don't want that crap, because it was crap. And what amazes me to this day, I think, have I been here before? I think I've been to the other side of this oil spill. All of this over here kind of looks vaguely familiar. But this was when PC Master Race really took off, in the advent of the woefully underpowered Xbox One VCR and PS4. PS4 Pro and Xbox One X is what the system should have been at launch. I'm just saying. I'm upset that they weren't, but what can you do? But in other news, I had to walk away from my computer for a second. Now I'm back and forgot what I was saying. No doubt it was something about the PS4. Oh, 2013 was the year. Those things were underpowered. And then I don't know what point I was trying to make after that. Dadgummit, I lost my train of thought. That's really upsetting, because I feel like we had a pretty good conversation going there. Those systems were underpowered. We've all agreed on that. I've stated it, and you've all acknowledged it to be true. But Then what was I going to say? I have no idea. Not only did I forget exactly what I was talking about, but I have no idea where to go from that. That's how rough that was. Gosh darn it. Gosh help me. Goodness gracious. Heavens above. Lord have mercy. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Possibly something about the PS5. Oh yeah, the Series X, the Xbox One X and the PS4 should have been what those systems were at launch. They weren't. Oh, I remember now! Fanboys! God, I hate them. Especially console peasant fanboys. So I was well into the PC master race at that point. Not a PC fanboy, though. I remember actually being really bummed that the Xbox and the PS4 kind of sucked. Because, especially the Xbox, I liked Halo. And Halo 5 not coming to PC and going to this horrible little console. No, it was a bit of a disappointment. I ended up playing it later on. But still, the fact that I couldn't play it on PC, meaning and eventually, if I wanted to experience it, I'd have to get an Xbox. And the Xbox was woefully weak and pathetic. And if you date him, you'll regret it. That's a reference. It was disappointing. I was not pleased with it at all. I think a lot of people look at the PC Master Race and they're like, they're just haters. I want things to be better. But that was the first time I ever saw how truly blind console peasants are. And it kind of goes back to that, we were talking about it before, the fanboy thing of you bought a thing and now you feel like you have to justify that purchase decision to the world. You cannot have been wrong with that decision. It was right. People must agree with you that it was right. That's where we started to see the really absurd sort of like, these are higher quality pixels, actually. Just because there's fewer of them, they're higher quality. Actually, 24 frames a second's more cinematic. It's what it's like in the movies. The human eye can't see past 30 FPS. One of my friends told me that. A man who should have known better. Standing inside of a Walmart of all places, looking at a TV and saying, well, I mean, the human eye can't see more than 30 FPS anyway. And I laughed. And he said, it's true. And I said, no, it's not, you imbecile. No, it is not. A blind man could look at his screen and determine that 60 FPS looks smoother. Now, that's an exaggeration. It's only to make a point. Gosh, goodness gracious, heavens above, help us all. Oh, dark times indeed. But, I mean, ironically, when the buzzwords started getting thrown around with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, when those were coming out, you started to see all these console peasants arguing about which one was more powerful, which one could do 4K 60, things that had been up until that point, according to these same peasants. Those were just buzzwords. They didn't really mean anything. These are people who don't know what resolution and frame rate actually are. It's just buzzwords. They don't actually mean anything. All of a sudden, they cared about them. I remember making a post on a Reddit. I've deleted Reddit. I've deleted most of my social media. I think we talked about this. Social media will depress you. Don't. It's so awful, isn't it? God, I hate it. But in any case, where did we come out at a second ago? Must have been right here. So this one's not complete. I guess we need to complete it. Because it didn't go all the way to the end, did it? No, it stops right here. That's strange. We will complete the path. And we will continue to talk about this exciting and exhilarating subject. Does that one not complete the path either over there? Oh, they're every 2, aren't they? Of course, yeah. It doesn't make sense to do them every other. Yeah. Okay. No, it checks out now. My brain is remembering. I remember leaving a post in a forum. I was like, so, console guys, y'all didn't care about, 4K 60, but now suddenly you do. Why is that? And just one guy fired off, we don't! These are just buzzwords! None of it actually matters and you're all idiots! And I was like, oh, they're still delusional. They're still lying to themselves. Bless them. Heaven help us. But now, look, I just want games to be the best they can be. And I want to be able to play, games on PC and have them look really, really good. And without consoles holding things back now, hopefully we'll get better stuff. I mean, when the PS5, they first did like that technical breakdown, they showed how they could stream compressed game files directly from NVMe storage to the GPU, where it would be uncompressed, instead of using a CPU to, first stream it to the system memory and then have the CPU decompress it and stream it back to the system memory and then have that sent along a PCIe lane to the GPU to be used. No more of that. Straight off of the NVMe, down PCIe lanes to the GPU to be decompressed. And that was really cool. I was like, that's actually something that PC doesn't have. Why doesn't PC have that? It's because you don't need technology like that on consoles, and we're full. We need to go up. We need to get out of here. Unfortunately, consoles kind of dictate, where developments like that go and how long they take and when they're implemented. And it's a darn shame, but it's also a darn truth. But now we do. Now NVIDIA's got it, and they're actually opening it up not only on the 3000 cards, but the 2000 cards. If you have a card with RT cores, basically, you can stream directly from NVMe to the RT cores, and they'll decompress them, and you don't have to ship it off onto your CPU. And this might actually, not only does it kind of decrease latency for loading things in, maybe reduce pop-in, it also takes a strain off your CPU. Maybe you don't need as powerful a CPU anymore. And that's great. I love when consoles get better, because PCs get better, and also, I do just like consoles. I do. The Switch is my favorite, which is something about Nintendo, man. I appreciate them on a level that I don't think that I appreciate anyone else. Love Nintendo. From now on, you are my precious metals, strange gems collection chest. You don't need axes or bones or dead animal bits. This is what you are to hold now. And the Sturgis quartz dust as well. Cool. So we got that. And then I guess the rest of this stuff. It's so terrible, isn't it? What are you doing? Take this stuff. Turn it into sand, please. Get it out of my sight. First, do this, though. Do that first. And then after you've done that, do this. And then you're allowed to do the rest of this. Darn it. So that actually does work in newer packs. It allows you to create multiple chests kind of in one go. Or I don't know if it works with chests, but it would work with sticks, for example. If you wanted to create a bunch of sticks, it's pretty cool. It's neato technology. It's not available here, unfortunately. This is terrible. Once we get moved, everything will get sorted, I promise. But until then, this will have to do. Also, you go in here to be leather. I think we're going to end up making some... I don't know why I said it like that either. I was very excited about my leather. We're going to make some leather armor. What do we have that we're missing? All of it. Leather armor kind of sucks unless, you're a newbie in RuneScape and you want to level your archery skills. It's kind of okay then. And if you have, low crafting level, you can still make it yourself, and that's pretty cool. I say low. I mean, you don't have to have a high one, is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to have a low level, but it doesn't have to be high either. You can make your own, and that's pretty nifty. And we like to see things like that in the world, don't we? Now, unfortunately, we have not gotten what we needed, really. Oh, this is full of sand. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sorry about that. I need all of the sand, because I need to turn it all into sandstone. But I am sorry for slowing down the processing. Can we get all the sand out of there? Let's get all the sand out of there. There we go. We'll leave that 12 stack in there. There we go. A bit more sandstone. Just yeet it in there for a while. And, I don't think we need all this food, really. Probably shouldn't take all the carrots down there either, in case we die. And then, we won't have any more food like that time we did. What was that, the cookies? Was that where we lost all those cookies? I think it might have been. What was that just tried to pop in on the side of my screen? Did y'all see that? What was that? I just exited the game to see if it was maybe like a notification in Windows. It wasn't. Did it actually happen? Did anything actually pop in the corner of my screen? It was when I was looking at one of these, so I assumed some sort of Aha. It was real. Well, that's good to know. Maybe we'll resume talking about consoles next time. Thank you folks for watching. God bless you. I'll see you later. Bye.